Today I've got on La Mensité. It's by Louis Vuitton. Ginger, sandalwood, abroxan, that kind of thing. Fresh. Oh, I'm hungry. Let's go for a ride. Welcome to Rides and Reflections. My name is Josh. We ride and reflect. I have 4 subscribers. Channel's been out for about a month. I mentioned in the first episode that I'm a middle-aged man. There's more reflecting happening in that age. Haven't been on a motorcycle in years and years, so I'm back on a bike. I just talk about things on my mind. And I think the primary purpose of the channel is to provide a thought journal of the things I'm thinking about. I don't write journals. It's not fun and creative enough for me, but I love to video edit and ride motorcycles, and I'm handy with cameras and computers, so it's a public journal, so I've got to make it sanitized and try to make it for public consumption. But I know that not many people are going to gel with a channel where a guy rides a motorcycle and just talks about stuff, but who knows, maybe some will. I want to be able to look back on these things and track what I was thinking about, what was guiding me. But I do thank you for any people who have benefited from my shows. I get a few likes here and there, and as I said, 4 subscribers. So thank you so much, those 4 subscribers. I love you. And today I want to talk about empty nest syndrome. Empty nest is when parents start to experience their children fledging. And I will say it is difficult. I also understand that there are parts of it that are great. Sometimes you just got too many cooks in the kitchen. Mom and dad and 3 or 4 kids is one thing, but mom and dad and 3 or 4 young adults is quite another. And we've done a lot of bird raising birds that lose their moms or fly out of the nest, and we try to find their mothers, but if we can't, we'll feed them. And we understand the concept of fledging. I mean, from a physical standpoint, it's just there's too little room for all these birds plus mom. So you kids got to get out, go build your own nest and complete the circle of life, or continue the circle of life. But it's not easy. I have 4 kids. One of them is married, and she lives, about 10, 11 hours away. And she's happy. She has a child. She's married and happy. And that makes me happy, that my kid's happy. That may be one of the primary consolations when they leave and you're sad, because it's a realization that their childhood is over. And there's a new chapter or a new volume opening in their life, and you'll never be able to go back to have them there on Christmas morning, opening presents, or always home for their birthdays. I know the geography plays a part too. You don't always end up 10, 11 hours away from your parents, but they're gone, they leave. And it is the definition of bittersweet. So I really miss her so much. I think in the last 17 months. I've seen her one time over Thanksgiving in the last 17 months, and I haven't seen my grandchild yet. That's hard. That's hard too. I just miss them when they were little kids. It tends to happen fast. They tend to grow up and want to spread their wings, like almost over a summer or even a month. You know, who knows what age it doesn't always happen at a certain age, but let's say 18. They're out of high school, and then suddenly, man, they want to leave. And one of the things that's painful about it is actually the very purpose that you raise them. We don't raise kids to keep them. We raise them so they can leave well. We have to prepare them to leave well, to fledge that nest well. But the realization that they've outgrown what you've worked so hard for is hard, but you can't take it personally. But they do. They outgrow. They want their own home. They want, in my daughter's case, another man. And so there's a replacement happening. That's tough too. But it's not personal. It's just the circle of life. If I didn't fledge, if I didn't want my own house and my own spouse, then I wouldn't have had my kids. So that's another consolation, is not only that I'm happy that they're happy, but I realize that I wouldn't have them had I not done the same thing that they're doing. Had I not put my parents through a little bit of natural ache, those kids would not be born. This girl's coming back home, just her and the baby, for a few weeks. There's a cousin getting married. I turned 50, and a few things like that are going to be real important to have the whole family together. And I really can't wait to see her and see my grandchild. And it's a new echelon of life, you know. It's like when you're a kid, you don't want to grow up and stop playing with toys, but eventually you realize that your desires and your passions and your interests change, and you discover other things like gardening or whatever that you wouldn't even think about as a kid. So you will find replacements for those things that really make you happy and whole when your kids are no longer around to be that. I've got another daughter who is about to make a big life-changing commitment. She is not married, but she's likely going to join the military, active duty, for 4 years. She's very active. She's action-oriented. She has to be busy, and she likes challenges and adventures, and this will give her all that. It will help her financially. It will really help her. But who wants their kid to deploy? We don't know where that would be. It could be overseas, 7,000 miles away. It could be on the coastline somewhere here in the States. But that came suddenly too. It was not really expected. As I said, just one summer after high school, and boom, they're gone. I've got a couple more months with her before this happens. But she just finished her last high school year, and her track meets, I miss her track season so much. I really, really enjoyed going to her practices and her meets and cheering for her. My son ran track with her too. He's a couple of years younger, and I still have him in his junior and senior years ahead. So that's great, but man, What hurts now is realizing that my child is gone. At the end of that track season, that was the close of her childhood. And 18, you know, that's a child to me. Legally, maybe an adult, but she's free from high school. She can do what she wants. So that's the other thing that's something that empty nesters have to deal with, is that your 18-year-old can do what they want. So try to love them enough and make their life such that there's no divisiveness and bitterness, and they don't want to flee because of a bad situation. They should want to flee because they want to grow. But either way, they can and they will do what they want to do. I remember when I was at my son's little league baseball games, he was 10, 11, 12. I remember with my smartphone out there in right field along the fence line, I would just film him in these mundane moments, standing up there in right field, a little boy, because I knew that I would want to look back on that one day, and I knew that these moments go fast. He hasn't played Little League Baseball in a couple years. He does track now, but even from the perspective of today, those Little League days are long gone. So, and now I have the same feeling with my other girl, knowing that track season really wrapped up her life as a child living with mom and dad. She's out on her own. I will see her less, a lot less. I read somewhere, I forget the numbers, but this idea that you are going to know the adult version of your child a lot longer, for many, many years longer than when you knew them as a kid. Now, quantitatively, the hours you spent with them as a kid is immense, and that's important. But you've got them for 18 years. But you will know them for another 18, another 18, another 18. And that's something you need to think about too, because that can help. It can help a lot. Being too myopic and focused on the near, to say that, oh wow, it's over. No, it's not over. It hasn't even begun yet. The way that you're going to remember your child and know them most is as an adult. I knew my dad for 32 years as an adult. So, for what it's worth. I told my brother-in-law the other day, I said, man, empty nest, it sucks, doesn't it? He's like, yeah, and he very quickly said, but it's also pretty awesome, Josh. It's kind of great. And I think he's talking about, you know, too many cooks in the kitchen, and a lot of unnecessary drama and conflicts are gone. They need to learn through experience, and now life really begins for them. And life, in a way, starts to begin for mom and dad too, when they no longer have to wear that hat all the time. And there's something to that. Mom and dad graduate too. We get to remove hats and put on new hats ourselves. And that's what he means. Empty nest is bittersweet, as I mentioned. It sucks, but it's also great. I have noticed that when kids are ready to leave like that, the 18-year-olds, they can get pretty grumpy toward the end. They are ready. They've already left in their head. And so you kind of want it to happen too. Please, let's just get on with this. What do you guys think about empty nest? If you've been through it, you have kids, is there something else that is similar where a chapter is closing forever and it's sad but also has its own rewards and benefits?